You know, there's something powerful about staying consistent. It's not the easy days that define you. It's the days when you wake up and feel like you've got nothing left to give, but you still show up. That's the moment you separate yourself from the pack. See, anybody can work hard when they feel good, when everything is going their way. But the real test, the real challenge comes when life gets tough. When the motivation disappears, that's when consistency takes over. Consistency shapes your destiny because what you repeatedly do becomes a pattern that defines the trajectory of your life. Think of it like building a habit, whether positive or negative. Those daily actions accumulate and set the course for who you become over time. In education, this principle is crucial. If a student commits to studying every day, even in small amounts, those efforts compound into deeper knowledge, better retention, and improved performance over time. It's not about cramming the night before an exam or relying on bursts of energy. Success comes from daily, consistent learning and engagement. The brain, like any muscle, grows stronger with repetition. The same applies in skills development. A person learning a new language or a musical instrument won't achieve fluency or mastery in a week or a month. But through consistent practice, spending time each day on vocabulary, pronunciation, or playing scales, they slowly but steadily build proficiency. It's in the daily grind where expertise is formed. This idea also speaks to personal development. The habits you choose, whether it's reading, exercising, or practicing mindfulness, shape your future self. Consistency in positive actions builds confidence, while falling into negative habits can lock you into patterns that are harder to break. Over time, these small choices sculpt your character, skills, and future opportunities. So, the actions you take today, repeated consistently over time, are essentially shaping who you will be tomorrow. Discipline over motivation is essential, because motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes with your mood, energy levels, or external circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is stable. It's the ability to stick to your plan and push forward regardless of how you feel in the moment. In an educational setting, this becomes especially important. A student may feel motivated at the start of the semester, excited about new courses or goals, but that motivation wanes as assignments pile up and distractions increase. Relying solely on motivation leads to inconsistency. However, a disciplined student creates a schedule, sticks to it, and builds study habits that function even when they don't feel like working. It's not about wanting to do it, it's about doing it because it needs to be done. Discipline and education teaches resilience. It encourages students to show up, work hard, and complete their tasks, even when they'd rather be doing something else. This approach fosters self-reliance and responsibility, key traits that are essential beyond academics into their careers and personal lives. Discipline also helps break larger tasks into manageable, consistent efforts. If a student is disciplined, they can plan out study sessions or assignments across a semester rather than cramming everything at the last minute. This leads to better learning, less stress, and higher quality work. While motivation might light the initial fire, discipline is what keeps the flame burning long enough to reach success. It turns effort into routine and ensures progress continues, even on days when the excitement or drive isn't there. Small steps lead to big victories, because consistent, incremental progress builds up over time to create significant achievements. In education, this is especially true when mastering a new subject or skill. Instead of overwhelming yourself with large tasks or expecting instant success, breaking down the learning process into small, manageable steps is key to sustained growth. For example, if a student wants to improve in mathematics, they won't master complex concepts like calculus overnight. But if they consistently practice foundational skills, working through basic problems, learning formulas, understanding theory, those small daily efforts will eventually lead to a strong command of the subject. Each small step of progress builds on the last, creating a cumulative effect that leads to mastery. The same principle applies to writing. An essay doesn't have to be written in one sitting. Breaking it down into parts, outlining, researching, drafting, revising makes the task manageable. Tackling one section at a time over several days results in a better organized, more thoughtful paper than if it were rushed all at once. Each small step reduces the overwhelm and improves the quality of work. Additionally, small steps are key to building habits. For instance, reading a chapter a day or dedicating 20 minutes daily to a new language may seem insignificant at first, but over weeks and months, this consistent effort compounds into a deeper understanding and proficiency. Each small victory along the way, like mastering new vocabulary or completing a book, reinforces motivation and confidence. Progress often feels slow, but it's these small, steady actions that ultimately lead to the biggest successes. Whether it's mastering a subject, preparing for exams, or developing life skills, incremental progress is the foundation of long-term achievement. Push through discomfort, because true growth and learning happen outside of your comfort zone. In education, this principle is crucial for both academic and personal development. When students avoid challenging tasks or difficult subjects because they feel uncomfortable or frustrated, they limit their potential. It's in those moments of struggle, when a concept feels just out of reach, or when the workload seems overwhelming, that the brain is pushed to adapt, learn, and grow. For example, when a student encounters a difficult math problem or a complex piece of literature, the initial reaction may be to give up or avoid it. But by pushing through the discomfort and continuing to engage with the material, breaking it down, asking questions, seeking help, they develop not just the skill to solve that specific problem, but also resilience and critical thinking that apply to other areas. Discomfort is a natural part of the learning process. It indicates that you're challenging yourself, moving beyond what's familiar or easy. This is how deeper learning happens. Whether it's preparing for a major exam, delivering a presentation, or learning a new language, the early stages of effort can feel slow and frustrating. But by pushing through those feelings of doubt or frustration, students gain confidence in their ability to overcome obstacles. This principle is also vital in developing time management and discipline. Studying for long hours, staying up late to meet deadlines, or sacrificing leisure time to complete projects may feel uncomfortable, but it builds endurance. Each time a student pushes beyond their initial discomfort, they expand their capacity for handling future challenges. When students understand that discomfort is part of the journey, they stop seeing it as a barrier and start recognizing it as an opportunity for growth. Embracing the struggle allows them to achieve things they didn't think were possible. Whether it's mastering a difficult subject or achieving personal goals, mindset matters because the way you think directly influences your ability to learn, grow, and succeed. In education, cultivating a positive and growth-oriented mindset is essential for long-term success. A student with a fixed mindset believes their abilities are static, so they tend to avoid challenges, fear failure, and feel limited by what they perceive as their natural talent. On the other hand, a student with a growth mindset views their intelligence and abilities as malleable, which leads them to embrace challenges, learn from mistakes, and persist in the face of setbacks. For example, if a student approaches difficult subjects like science or mathematics with a fixed mindset, they may think, "I'm just not good at this," and give up when faced with hard problems. But with a growth mindset, they would approach the same challenge with the belief that while they may struggle now, effort and persistence will help them improve over time. This shift in thinking encourages them to seek help, practice more, and push through difficulties, leading to better outcomes. Mindset also affects how students respond to feedback. A student with a fixed mindset might take criticism personally, viewing it as a reflection of their abilities. They may feel discouraged or defeated by low grades or negative feedback. Conversely, a student with a growth mindset sees feedback as a tool for improvement. They understand that setbacks are not a reflection of their worth, but rather an opportunity to learn and grow. Furthermore, mindset influences motivation and resilience. When students believe their efforts directly impact their success, they are more likely to stay motivated even when progress is slow. They develop resilience, seeing failures not as the end of their journey, but as a stepping stone to mastery. This mindset fosters lifelong learning, helping students not only in their academic endeavors, but also in their personal and professional lives. Ultimately, mindset shapes how students engage with their education. By training their minds to focus on growth and possibility, rather than limitations, they unlock their full potential and become more adaptable, persistent, and successful learners. Fall in love with the process because the journey of learning and growth is where true mastery and understanding develop. In education, this means shifting focus from just achieving high grades or passing exams to truly engaging with the material and appreciating the learning experience itself. When students are only focused on the outcome, they often miss the deeper learning opportunities that come from being curious, asking questions, and actively participating in their education. For example, when studying for an exam, if a student only cares about the grade, they might cram information temporarily and forget it shortly after. However, if they fall in love with the process of learning, taking the time to understand concepts deeply, applying knowledge to real-world situations, and making connections between subjects, they develop a much stronger, lasting understanding. This not only helps them perform better on assessments, but also equips them with critical thinking skills that go beyond the classroom. Falling in love with the process also means embracing the steps it takes to master a skill, even when progress feels slow. Whether it's writing, coding, or learning a new language, the process is often repetitive and challenging. A student who loves the process will find joy in the act of practicing, improving incrementally with each session. They won't see mistakes as failures, but as necessary parts of growth. Additionally, this mindset encourages persistence. When students enjoy the process, they are more likely to stick with difficult tasks, knowing that the small efforts they make each day contribute to their overall progress. They begin to see learning as a long-term journey rather than a series of short-term hurdles. This mindset reduces burnout because they derive satisfaction from the daily act of learning itself, not just the final result. Moreover, when students value the process, they become more independent learners. They explore topics on their own, pursue deeper knowledge out of curiosity, and take initiative in their education. This creates a sense of ownership over their learning, making them more motivated and engaged. Ultimately, by falling in love with the process, students develop a growth-oriented approach to education, where each step forward is a rewarding experience and learning becomes a fulfilling, lifelong pursuit. Overcome self-doubt, because one of the biggest barriers to success in education. Self-doubt causes students to question their abilities, making them hesitant to take on challenges or pursue difficult goals. However, when students actively work to overcome self-doubt through consistent effort and discipline, they build confidence in their abilities and begin to achieve more than they thought possible. In the classroom, self-doubt often appears when students compare themselves to others or focus too much on setbacks. A student may look at a difficult math problem and think, "I'm just not good at this," which leads them to disengage or avoid trying. But when they push past this self-doubt, by tackling the problem step by step, seeking help, and practicing regularly, they begin to realize that ability is not fixed. With persistence, what once seemed impossible becomes manageable, and they gain confidence in their own problem-solving skills. Overcoming self-doubt also involves changing how students view failure. Many students equate failure with personal inadequacy, leading them to give up after a single setback. However, students who understand that failure is a part of the learning process see mistakes as opportunities for growth. For instance, if a student receives a low grade on a test, instead of internalizing that as a reflection of their intelligence, they can view it as feedback, an indicator of where they need to improve. By consistently addressing their weaknesses, they overcome the initial self-doubt and grow stronger academically. Building confidence through consistent action is another way to combat self-doubt. When students set small, achievable goals like completing daily study sessions or practicing a skill for a few minutes each day, they create a track record of success. Each small victory reinforces their belief in their ability to learn and improve, gradually silencing the inner voice of doubt. Over time, the habit of consistently showing up and putting in effort builds a strong foundation of self-assurance. Additionally, self-doubt can be mitigated by cultivating a positive support system. Teachers, mentors, and peers who encourage effort and resilience help students push beyond their fears. Receiving constructive feedback rather than criticism allows students to focus on progress, not perfection. The reinforcement from a supportive environment helps students believe in their potential, even when challenges arise. Ultimately, overcoming self-doubt is not about eliminating uncertainty altogether, but about pushing through it consistently. As students realize that effort leads to improvement, their confidence grows, and self-doubt loses its power to hold them back. Through persistence, they unlock their full academic potential and become more resilient learners. Success is the result of persistence, because those who achieve greatness are not always the most talented, but the ones who refuse to give up. In education, persistence is often the determining factor between students who succeed and those who fall short. While natural ability or intelligence can provide an advantage, it is the consistent effort, even in the face of setbacks, that leads to true academic achievement. Take the process of learning a difficult subject such as chemistry or calculus. Students who rely solely on their initial understanding or talent might succeed up to a point, but they will eventually encounter material that challenges them. It's at this stage where persistence becomes crucial. A student who persists will review the material, seek clarification, and practice repeatedly until they grasp the concept. This determination to keep going even when the subject is tough results in mastery over time, whereas a lack of persistence may lead others to give up prematurely. Persistence also plays a critical role in problem solving and research. For example, writing a research paper or completing a project requires more than just knowledge. It requires dedication and resilience. Students must collect data, analyze findings, organize their thoughts, and often rewrite sections multiple times. Each step requires persistence because the process can be slow, tedious, and sometimes frustrating. Those who stick with it, despite the difficulties, often produce higher quality work and develop a deeper understanding of the topic. Furthermore, persistence helps students overcome moments of failure. When faced with a poor grade or a difficult exam, many students may feel defeated and question their abilities. However, those who persist do not see failure as a final outcome. Instead, they view it as part of the learning process, a temporary setback that can be corrected through additional effort and reflection. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and try again. This cycle of persistence in the face of failure leads to continuous improvement. Persistence also fosters long-term academic growth. A student who persists in reading regularly, practicing a new language, or improving their writing over the course of several months or years will naturally see greater gains than one who gives up after a few weeks of effort. This accumulation of consistent effort, even if the progress seems small at first, compounds over time and leads to significant improvements in both skills and knowledge. Lastly, persistence builds resilience, an essential skill for lifelong learning. Students who develop persistence are better equipped to handle challenges not only in school but in all areas of life. They learn to manage their time effectively, push through mental and emotional fatigue, and maintain focus on their goals. This resilience prepares them for future challenges, whether in their careers or personal lives, where success often requires the ability to stick with difficult tasks until they are completed. Through persistence, students transform obstacles into opportunities for growth, and over time, this mindset leads to lasting success.